Are you a musician who's looking to come up with unlimited ideas for songs? Do you struggle with creating your own chord progressions, son? Do you even know what a chord progression is? Do you have any knowledge of music theory at all, son? Why am I doing this accent? I honestly. Well, slap my leg and call me Harry. Do I have a plug-in for you? Kind of stuff. Today's episode of Track Out Tuesday is going to be all about how to come up with unlimited ideas for songs using one simple plugin right here called Scalar 2. Let's get into it. Yo, what is up everybody? I am Legend, and I know that intro was kind of strange. Today's gonna be a great fun video because I have another awesome plugin to show you guys that I think is gonna be really helpful and beneficial to a lot of musicians out there, especially the ones out there who struggle with coming up with ideas for songs or don't really know too much about music theory. So today's video is going to be all about a plugin called Scalar 2. This is a plugin that basically allows you to come up with different ideas, different chord progressions for your song, melodies, things like that. But not only that, it is a plugin that has a lot of really dope features that are going to be beneficial to not only beginner musicians but also musicians who are well seasoned but just sometimes have writer's block, creator's block, things like that. From options to select different artist presets on their own chord progressions that they created themselves, to features that allow you to play an entire expression and rhythm by pressing one finger on one key. You heard me right. I'm gonna demonstrate it right now as we dive into Maschine. I can't wait to show you what we come up with. Let's go.
Introducing Scalar 2. Scalar 2 brings a host of new features, including performance mode, chord audio detection, and MIDI capture. New performance and expression modes allow you to build beautiful chord sequences, add arpeggios and rhythms, and overlay emotive melodies.
Yeah, boy.
Drag and drop audio directly onto Scalar 2 to detect the chords, notes, and scales. Scalar 2 helps you compose key changes with ease and offers a guided way to find great pathway chords. Perform like a pianist and add authenticity using the built-in Humanize controls. And choose from 30 new sounds and hundreds of scales, songs, and artist presets.
Scalar 2. Okay, just kidding. So that is basically a brief overview of what we're going to be looking at today. So I'm going to go ahead and add Scalar 2 to this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come up with some drums first, just so we can add Scalar 2 to something. All right, so I'm trying to go for like a little Prince feel right here. So this is what we're going to do. Just to lay this down really quick, we're going to do the record. Yeah. That's so sick. All right, now that we have our drums laid down, I want to go ahead and add our keys. So I'm going to just label this as keys. And we're going to open up the Scalar 2 VST, which is in Plugin Boutique here. Scalar 2 VST. Now, there are so many features about Scalar 2 that I could cover in this video, but it would take me forever. This video would be hours upon hours long, but I want to cover what I think are going to be the most helpful features for you. A lot of you I know are beginners or don't know too much about music theory, so I'm going to cover a few different terms. But first, what we're going to do, notice we're here in the detect feature already. So Scalar 2, as you guys saw in that little preview, is a plugin that is able to detect audio or MIDI and detect what chords are being played within that MIDI file or that audio file, which I think is tip top, you know. So I'm gonna give it a test right here. I do have a MIDI track here. I created some chord progressions and then I exported it as a MIDI just to show. Take the file, drag it to Scalar 2 and drop it. You click yes to continue. It's gonna replace everything we have here. The MIDI file broken into the different chords that are played in the file. Pretty dope, right? I think that's pretty sick. So we had that detect feature, but then we also have the audio feature. Maybe this might work. And what I'm going to do is drag that in there and see if it can actually read those files. So I think it only takes WAV files because I tried to do it with a different type of file and it didn't work. So I'm going to drag over this WAV file and you hear what it sounds like. I'm going to drag the WAV file over here and then we're going to continue and see what it comes up with. So the moment of truth. Nice. Nice, very nice. But yeah, every single one of these chords, except for I think these right here, are for the most part within this song. Not exactly like the same voicing and the inversions and things like that, but these chords are definitely in the song. So this is a pretty sick feature, man. I really like that. So you can use MIDI, you can use audio files. That's the detect feature there. As far as like generating your own chords and not having a source, there are so many different ways to go about doing this and so many different things you can do with it. This menu, so we have scales. You guys know what scales are. It's different. Fa la 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 la. That's a scale. Fa la 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 la. That's a minor scale. There's different scales that basically allow you to play and sing different feels of songs. The thing about Scalar 2 is it gives you all this information at your fingertips. All I have to do is click notes. So these are going to be all the notes on the piano scale. We have C all the way to B. So C, C sharp / D flat, D, D sharp, E, F, and so on and so on. So we're going to go ahead and select A. And then we go to types. Now, if you don't want to do types, you could just scroll through all these forever and see all the different kinds of scales that they have. But you can also sort like this. We have these are all of our major types of scales, all of our harmonic major scales. But let's just go with the basic A major scale. You can do that, or if you want to, you can just type A Maj, and then it'll come up right here as well. And then if we select that, it'll play all the notes that are within the scale. So this is going to be a great teacher for those who don't know how to tell what a scale is or don't know anything about scale. If you want to teach yourself music theory or like the basics of it, use this tool. Press the play button. That is an A major scale. Now, when you do select the A major scale, it's going to update this section down here. And basically what this is all the scales that are within the A major scale. So let's select that, and everything's A major. So now when you adjust the octave, that's basically a jump up from the lower octave, which is I'll just show an example. So we're in octave 2 right now. If we go to octave 1, it just lowers everything an octave. Whereas if I go to 2 and then go to 3, it takes it up to the higher register. So that's what an octave is. I talked about this in another video. These are basically additions to the scales. So like we have a A major. This is going to be 3 notes. You guys can see right here, 3 notes, right? But if I take this triad and I bump it to a 7th, an A major 7th. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. And all the chords are going to have that 7th. I can jump it up to a 9th, and it adds in the scale. So these are going to basically add more depth, more beef to your chords if you want to do it that way. Voicings is a section where, like, if you select different types of voicings, it's basically going to play the same chords but invert it in different ways and have different notes playing in different places. So it's going to be the same exact scale, the same notes and all that stuff, just played in different ways. So this is the basic triad. But if I go to voicing 1, voicing 2, it's the same exact chord. They're just, the notes are in different places. Just so that it's not the same old basic 3-part or, 7th chord. You can add a little bit more flavor if you want to. Then we have our variations as well. So these are all different kinds of options to give you different kinds of chords you can input into your own chord progression, which is going to be this menu down here. I'll get to that later. So I'm going to start with creating an idea. And here's one of the cool features about Scalar. So like I said before, you can play out entire ideas, entire chords with just one finger on one key. You don't have to necessarily know how to play piano, know music theory and things like that. You just press the note and it plays it. So what we're going to do is we're in our A major scale. We have the basic, scale down here. We click this button right here, which means bind. It's going to bind, it says down here, bind incoming MIDI notes to chord triggers. And you can see this change right here. Those notes get darkened. So the C2 is when I press one single key, it's going to trigger an entire chord. Pretty dope. And then if I change the voicings, for instance, to say voicing 5, you're getting all different kinds of voicings as well. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I really do like that. Also, you can change the instrument that you're using. So basically the cool thing about Scalar 2 is it has all of its own built-in instruments that you can use. Digital pianos, all different kinds of pianos, all different kinds of synths, different kinds of guitars, hybrids, and orchestra. I found one yesterday that I wanted to use. Quantize it. Something like that. I'm got a million things for you. All of it in time. I know. Okay, so I mean, that fast. You know how long it would have taken me to try and come up with this chord progression idea? Like, all right, so there is our first idea. I'm going to add another instance of Scalar 2 and show you guys a little bit more of these features. This is the next big feature that I really wanted to touch on, is basically kind of generating your own expressions, your own like keyboard player. If you don't know how to play keys, if you don't have a friend, or like you can't ask somebody how to play, Scalar 2 has you covered, because you can just click this perform button, and what it does is it gives you expressions, arpeggios, and like strumming rhythms to use from fast to slow, all different kinds of expressions here. How about some phrases? Ooh. I like that. So superb. And you can go through this and do arpeggios, like I said, where it goes up and down. You can do different kinds of rhythms if you want to. There's so many different options. It's just insane. Now, one thing that I also want to talk about is when you do these performances, it's really straight. But if you want it to sound more human, you simply click the Humanize button. And I liken this to auto-tune when you like are messing with the tightness and the transition, the note transition. This is basically equivalent to that. It's like trying to make it sound not so robotic. You want it to sound as much like a human is playing it as possible, because that's essentially what you would be doing if you could play an instrument. So you just click Humanize, and you can humanize it by the velocity and the timing. I love to do both, because when I'm playing, I have both velocity and timing are going to be humanized, you know, because I'm a human. So I just click both, and then it gives it a human aspect to it. Just a slight little tinge of, you know, delays and different volume levels of what's being played. This button right here, keys lock. This is going to be really important for maintaining your note, your key, your scale, because a lot of people, like I say, who use this or who I make this video for, don't necessarily know anything about what's in a scale, what notes sound good in which scales, and what belongs where. So when you press the keys lock and you have your scale selected, so our A major scale, I'll just click the keys lock, and I'll do it by the white keys only. And basically every single white key that I press is going to be in the key of the song that this has been set in. So, and we have the performance thing selected here. So I'm just pressing random notes on the keyboard. A lot of this stuff I know is not even in the right key, but because we have keys lock selected, everything you play is going to be in the right key. So our expressions are on, we're on accento, keys lock is off, I can play all kinds of wrong notes. But if I turn keys lock on, pretty much everything is going to sound at least okay, because it's all in the same scale. Now this is good for melodies actually. I'm not gonna play chords, but this is good for melodies. So it does sound a little bit random because I'm just messing around, but no note is off key. No note is off out of scale. I want to show you guys this section down here. This is where you can craft your own progressions and capture the MIDI and then import it into your DAW as MIDI, basically to use your own VST. So if I came in here and I wanted to use piano, so it's going to load our own. I'll come to Scalar 2. And here are our chords. And what you want to do is you want to right click this play button so that it'll sync to your DAW. And that way it, you see how the MIDI will carry over into the DAW. I'm going to actually go to my voicings and do a different B minor. Do E major, we'll go back to voicing 1, octave 2. Let's go to voicing, 5. All right, so check this out. I'm gonna mute all these and I'm gonna play this one. And this is what our current progression did based on what I selected, drag down here for the MIDI to be captured. So that's our chord progression right here. Get an expression in here. So it's playing out an entire phrase for you, just ding 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 blah blah blah, right? Now what you want to do to get it on your own concert hall VST is you click MIDI Capture, and then it's going to record this as you play it. So you just play it from the beginning. Click stop. Now it's ready to drag the MIDI out. I click to my concert hall, I import the MIDI desktop, and we have Scalar MIDI Capture. We open it up and check out what it's doing. It's our humanized expression. Which is, I think, pretty cool. And it actually sounds pretty good with the track we have. And then a couple of other features that we have are songs and artists. So these are going to be basically chord progressions based on types of songs, genres of songs, from alternative to pop to EDM to hip hop, things like that. And then you have your own artist chord progressions, which are a bunch of different types of artists that recorded different chord progressions that they use or that they would play with whatever scale that you select. It's their own personalized way to play these chord progressions, like their own arrangements that you can use to import into your stuff. So we have, like, for instance, Carl Cox 1, A major scale here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try and finish a little bit of this track and see how it turns out. An excellent idea that we came up with so far, all starting with progressions generated by Scalar 2. So I hope that you guys actually learned something from this and learned that Scalar 2 is a really great plugin to have. So if you want to download Scalar 2, the link will be in the description. You guys can download it there. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, please leave a like. It would greatly help out the channel and help this video get in front of a lot more people. Also, if you are not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications, and set them to all. And I just thank you for everything. And as always, stay legendary. Enjoy Scalar 2.